Growing up, I remember thoroughly enjoying the Love Bug movies. The little car with a big personality made its impression on little Dave Rex. Herbie is the name of a little VW bug that is known for its racing history, beating out race cars at their own game. The man behind the wheel is Jim Douglas, a race car driver with a decent heart and a charming voice. Now, that's not what makes Herbie special.
You don't understand what happens, do you? They make 10,000 cars, they make them exactly the same way, and one or two of them turn out to be something special. Nobody knows why.
So that explains how he's a living car and can drive on its own and understand human language. Look, it's not really given a clear explanation. Herbie graced screens in 1969 after Disney had purchased an unpublished short story by Gordon Buford titled Car Boy Girl. Though it seems no one knows what's contained in the original story, and I couldn't afford it anyway. But since I don't know what's in the original story, I'll assume that the rewrites included picking out a VW Bug for the lead car and sprinkling in those light-hearted Disney Asian stereotypes.
Come on, will you? I'm in a hurry!
The first movie follows Jim Douglas and his journey of meeting Herbie and racing in the El Dorado alongside his friend Tennessee and love interest Carol Bennett. He does, of course, win the race, and the film was a success with a $5 million budget and making over $51 million worldwide. A sequel was inevitable, but it took 5 years. In 1974, Herbie Rides Again was released. The original cast isn't present beside Herbie, but we do get one of the best elderly love stories of all time.
Without me, dear, I think I'll just have a quiet evening at home. Goodbye, dear. Now do go on with your wonderful story about the cows, Mr. Judson.
I swear I never seen a hand.
He's a badass. Oh, and all kinds of things can be alive, I guess. No matter. It's in the third installment that we see the return of Jim Douglas in Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo, released in 1977. Jim is racing Herbie in the Monte Carlo, and this is a through and through love story, with both Herbie and Jim falling in love and winning the hearts of their love interest as well as the race. And while there is another movie, Herbie Goes Bananas,
well, the booty was taken aboard the man of war, and the enemy vessel scuttled. The women were then turned over to the crew.
The select ones going to the officers, naturally. The wenches were escorted below, and believe me, there was no poetry, or by your leave, or how lovely you look tonight, madam. One got to the matter at hand in short order.
Each captive seaman was then given 100 lashes with the cat, and spread eagles on the rigging.
In that one, there is no Jim Douglas, and Herbie gets thrown off the ship in a walk-the-plank fashion? Wait, what the
By the powers vested in me as the captain of this ship, I hereby deem this vehicle a menace to life and limb and the very safety of the vessel itself. I herewith commit it to the sea, and a fate well-deserved. Off hats! Seamen, do your duty.
Anyway, it turns out that there is more Jim Douglas in the Herbie the Love Bug television show, airing in 1982 on CBS from March 17th to April 14th. The show had a 5-episode run and follows Jim as a retired racing driver running a driving school. It turns out none of his love interests lasted, and he's now single. I wonder if we'll get a peek into his love life.
Who is the one with the sing in his chassis? Not very sweet, but he's bright and he's sassy. When you're with him, you better leave your cares behind. It's Herbie.
Dean Jones reprises his role as Jim Douglas and was the one who sang the theme song, Herbie My Best Friend. He's down on his luck and in need of a loan to get his driving school afloat. It seems a bit slow.
She's going, Herbie. Just wait. Herbie will give her so much confidence that she could drive a school bus through the interchange at rush hour. Bye-bye.
What? That's not how driving works. Confidence is for composure, directly after a kidnapping. Speaking of which, at exactly 5 minutes into the first episode, Jim arrives at the bank and watches a kidnapping and robbery take place. Herbie isn't having any of that shit and chases down the armed criminals.
Herbie, what are you doing? Step on it. Are you going crazy? If you're not thinking about your fenders, think about my life and live. Watch a truck! Watch a truck! I'll take care of this clown.
The thing about the show is it does give Herbie things to do and often has impressive shots of Herbie driving himself. But this show is sometimes under a different title of Herbie the Matchmaker. That's because Herbie wasn't out to be a lawman. No. Herbie was playing wingman.
I owe you a big thanks.
Well, I mean, you're welcome, but I didn't really have much to do with it. You might say I was driven.
Jim here plays it real cool when she says she wishes she could repay him. He says he could use some business. Turns out, this woman does know Jimmy D.
You have a Julie McLean in your class.
Yeah, sure do.
I'm Julie's mom, Susan.
So we're in luck. Susan's daughter needs lessons, and the public school system isn't doing it right. I guess she should be guilt-tripped into paying for him for failing her daughter. Take the money, Jim. Don't say something stupid.
But she really could use some private instruction.
What about your husband? Is he a coward?
What the f***? Jim, you idiot. Thank God she's divorced and seems f***ing dazed by the kidnapping and traumatic experience. Plus, those bedroom eyes are pretty strong. I think this chick likes danger. Anyway, I guess there's no time like the present.
I don't suppose you could start this afternoon.
I just had a cancellation.
Good. Here's our address.
4 o'clock, okay?
It's fine.
Good. I'll see you then.
Thanks.
Where the hell is she going? Any police reports? Any questions? Well, I guess she's heading back home to tell her daughter that her teacher is coming to their house. Okay, Jim, don't blow this. Don't come on too strong.
No thanks.
I've got a special. It's only $5 a bunch.
Yeah, no thanks. Herbie! Herbie! I'll take him.
I've got a special on some candy, too.
No, the flowers are enough, thanks. Hey, kid. I think she's gonna get candy, too.
Have I mentioned that Herbie is an asshole? Jim arrives and we meet Susan's 3 children. Turns out that Julie is the oldest. Matthew and Robbie are her brothers. Jim gets roped into a family driving lesson and tries to get Susan to come along. When she doesn't, he asks her to dinner. And when that fails, he gives her the flowers. And a snide comment? Jim, get your shit together.
But maybe another time?
Oh. Well, you better take these now. They may not keep till some other time.
Now, where the hell is our villain? We are almost 13 minutes in, and I don't know who I can laugh at getting hurt yet.
Speaking of etiquette, who is that turkey?
Randy, Mom's boyfriend. And Mom.
Hey, I'm sorry about that, but I just wanted to catch up with you.
Well, yeah, I noticed.
Hey, I owe you thanks for saving my little lady here.
Your little lady?
Yes, and my mother thanks you for rescuing a considerable amount of money for her bank.
Oh, well, I have a little loose change there myself.
Oh, mother will be glad to hear that. She's chairman of the board. In fact, Susan was at the bank to join us for a luncheon when those hoods interrupted our plans.
Well, it's a good thing I interrupted theirs, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, look, if the lesson's over, I thought I'd take the children for some treats, huh?
All right.
Huh?
Hey, yeah.
Lesson's over.
Oh, by the way, Douglas, quaint idea, the candy and the flowers. Does that go with all the lessons or just special ones, huh?
Randy, what a great villain name. I like him. And did they say that that's their mom's boyfriend? How long have they been dating? And I think I can confirm that Susan gets turned on by danger. We'll see more of that later. But for now, Herbie has his own bone to pick. So he stalks Randy and destroys his property by pushing Randy's car into a yard to get wet. However, Jim is getting the blame when Randy sees the back of Herbie.
Jim Douglas?
Yeah, I saw him sneaking away in his car.
I can't believe it. Why would he do a thing like that?
Jealousy turns grown men into destructive little children.
How come you parked there, Uncle Randy? The upholstery, the carpeting, the leather, it's all ruined.
Yeah, well, the whole evening is ruined.
Did Robbie call him Uncle Randy? What's the deal here? Oh, the phone's ringing. Who's this? Oh, it's Susan. Now, Jim, play it cool.
Well, I didn't know you'd be calling, but as long as you did, I'm glad I am.
Then you didn't just drive by my house.
In my mind, a dozen times.
I don't know why after this afternoon.
Well, I don't know why either. 3 kids in a Mercedes?
The Mercedes has been canceled for the evening. Something happened to it. My date's off.
Does this mean you're giving old candy and flowers a chance?
I'd love to.
Don't move.
Jim, at least say goodbye. You are blowing it, Douglas, and you only have 5 episodes to make this work.
And what are you doing here? You can't even afford to have me park your car.
Jim, I hate to disappoint you, but I'm not sure I'm dressed to go in here.
Oh, well, I certainly wouldn't want to embarrass you.
Where are we going?
I think it's a surprise.
Douglas, you are catching some lucky breaks with this chick. Just don't make it creepy.
Thank you.
Hamburgers at Makeout Point? You are an adult. She has 3 fucking kids. Christ. Okay, well, she does seem to be okay with it.
You're not going to believe this. We're out of gas.
You're right, I don't. I would hate for our first date to be our last.
Jim, I think she's into you.
Be careful. I could get to like that.
Herbie, shut the fuck up. We're trying to get laid here. Susan is good at those sexy eyes, and that's right, her boyfriend, Randy. But it's okay that she's cheating on him. He's the villain. See, in the very next scene, he attempts to steal Herbie, but gets spit out into a pile of trash, and it's okay because he's a thief and the villain. I think Randy might be an idiot too, because he doesn't seem too concerned about the vehicle that drove itself and spit him out. He knows that Jim wasn't driving. Anyway, how long have Randy and Susan been together?
How can you even think of going on a date when you're practically engaged to Randy?
Doesn't mean I can't like someone else. I guess I do like Jim Douglas a little.
Wait, what? They're practically engaged? What does that mean? It's been like 2 days since you met Jim. What do you mean you guess you like Jim Douglas? Susan, you are sending mixed signals here. Oh yeah, I guess I should mention, Douglas could enter a race to get the cash he needs, but that's behind him. Though it has brought him success and love, both were extremely fleeting and the race lifestyle just isn't for him anymore. Now, this does work for Susan because her ex-husband is still a race car driver and that stress doesn't work for her. Ooh, I smell sitcom situations.
Mom, the bottom line is he's a race car driver. And you know what that means.
He gave that up long ago.
Did he really? Didn't you make that mistake once before?
A lecture from my daughter?
Only a suggestion, Mom.
Susan, I don't know if you shouldn't be taking some of your daughter's suggestions. You seem to like life on the edge a bit too much, and you have 3 kids. Anyway, it seems like Jim jerked off last night after getting home, and he's thinking a little more clearly, so he sets a coffee date with Susan over the phone. But oh no, our villain is going to... Wait, that's Julie. What's this? A mole in the group? Feeding information to Randy? What? No. I don't like that the youngest boy calls him Uncle Randy and that he's sharing secrets with the oldest daughter who's going to college next year. Anyway, in Jim's classroom, they're watching Herbie race and then... Wait, what? Is this a garage? Why is Herbie in there?
Yeah, kind of like an ex-heavyweight champ, eh, Mr. Douglas? Fat, slow, and over the hill.
Not exactly. No, Herbie still has it. He just doesn't have to prove it anymore.
You sure didn't prove it to us yesterday.
Well, Jason, I told you, that's not the time or place for racing.
How about the drag strip? The guys are going out there this afternoon.
Yeah, come on out with us, Mr. Douglas, so you can show us something.
Yeah.
Afraid not, fellas. I have more important things to do.
Yeah, he's got to drive Herbie out to the retirement village.
Easy now, Herbie. Easy, old-timer. I'm sorry. Oh, just a slip of the tongue.
Herbie is a child. Oh, and look, it is a garage. What kind of classroom is this? Hold on. Is Randy meeting with high school students outside of school? Don't get in with him, and don't call him uncle. Fuck. Anyway, Randy and Julie tail Jim Douglas to the meeting with Susan. Meanwhile, the fucking idiot Herbie gets riled up by teenagers heading to the drag strip.
Hey, looks like Mr. Douglas has been to the car wash. How can you tell? Because Herbie's all washed up.
Did you know that wearing your seatbelt became a law in California in 1986? 4 years after this show aired on CBS? Anyway, the little jerk known as Herbie follows these children.
Are you following those boys?
No. Well, in a way, yes. See, there's some great coffee shops down this way. And we are definitely going to stop for coffee.
Stop being attracted to him, Susan. And Herbie, just go to a coffee shop and don't forget the mission. Jim, Susan, the uncomfortable backseat of a hot Volkswagen. I know you're a freak. Get him to the coffee shop.
There's a black kettle up ahead. It's quiet and convenient.
Oh, great. Well, we'll stop there. We'll stop at the Black Kettle. Maybe we'll just keep on looking.
Do not take Susan hostage. This isn't a good look, goddammit. Did you forget how we got here? Herbie, do not do it. Herbie! Fuck. You stupid son of a...
Thank you. Let me ask you one thing. Was that not a race we just had?
No, that was a race.
Yeah, talk about showing us something. I'll show you that engine. Let me see that engine. I can't believe it.
Well, you certainly showed me something.
Look, I really am sorry.
What?
I really am.
What was all that talk about your being through with racing?
Let me explain.
Forget it. You just did like my husband did for 12 years, and he is still on the circuit.
Susan...
Don't you Susan me! You racing nuts are all alike. No responsibilities, playing your childish little ego games.
Herbie! Anyway, Randy shows up, and he just so happens to have a check for Jim to enter the race if he decides to take it, and Susan doesn't question in the slightest why Randy is even there, though Jim does. Susan, what do you do during the day? Where is Matthew and Robbie? Bad. The 80s. Okay, well, I guess that's over. Susan is with Randy, and Jim is going to make some cash with Herbie. Oh, but Herbie is upset. You caused this whole thing, you stupid bug. What's the next scene?
Do we have to be in the wedding?
Sure, your mother wants you to be there.
Do we have to go to the honeymoon, too?
Over my dead body.
Anyway, I'd rather stay here and watch Jim Douglas and Herbie race. Yeah.
You mention their names again, and you'll be watching them from a hospital bed.
What? They're getting married? And I don't think I like Randy anymore. He might be too much of a villain. Julie is getting a guilty conscience and thinks it's her fault because Randy has conditioned her that way. What the f*** is this show? I hope Susan knows what she's doing.
Believe me, I thought it through very carefully. It's the best thing for all of us. Go tell Randy I'll be right down.
I just want you to be sure, Mom.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Look, if you're thinking of pulling out of this race on account of some female, tell me now. Don't break my heart later.
I'm not pulling out of any race.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Well, at least I'm glad they're sure. Oh, stop it. You can't call each other. See, now the line is busy, and this is the 80s. You can't stop a wedding over the phone. It's not appropriate for the time. Well, I guess it's time to get your to the church.
We're expected at noon, and I'd prefer to be there on time after the arrangements Mother's made. We don't have weddings at the Mission of the Chimes every day, you know.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just keep thinking I may have forgotten something.
Well, whatever it is, I'll buy you a new one when we get to Santa Barbara.
Why does Uncle Randy even want to marry Susan? Dude, she cheats on you, and even if you are getting laid, is this all worth it? Plus, if you just always want to be there for the kids, stop having them call you uncle. Oh wait, is Herbie being an asshole again?
Herbie, I am not getting married. But she is. Right. In Santa Barbara, of course. I suppose she's marrying, that's who I figured. Well, they deserve one another. What do you think we're going to do about it? Stop? We don't even know what time the wedding is. All right, so it's at noon. Noon? Are you kidding? We'll never make Santa Barbara by noon.
Herbie can make it, especially when Robbie is going to make them stop so that Randy's back seats don't get more water damage. But that's okay. We finally get some more Herbie shenanigans, and I do love it when they do this. And Dean Jones is so charming as Jim Douglas that he still makes me believe that he really does connect with this car. Oh, there she is, the mother of Randy. She owns the bank. Why the did she set up all of this overnight? Does she want Randy married off that bad too? Susan looks so uncomfortable. Is just being hostage a fetish that Jim ruined for her in the first place? I sure hope he fits through the church door when he gets there.
If there is anyone who knows of any reason why this man and woman should not be joined in holy wedlock. If so, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Of course he f***ing does. Okay, Jim. Your time to shine, buddy.
Oh, excuse me, madam. I certainly didn't mean to. Well, hello.
What in heaven's name do you think you're doing, Douglas?
Interrupting something, I guess.
My wedding.
Oh, yes. You're marrying, thank you.
I certainly am.
Well, then go right ahead. Go right ahead. Don't let me disturb you.
Holy shit, Jim. Keep it together.
Well, perhaps we could continue. I have another...
Oh, right. This is Susan. And did the crowd just laugh at that?
Well, then go right ahead. Go right ahead. Don't let me disturb you.
Well, perhaps we could continue. I have another...
Oh, my mistake. They were just aghast at the situation and his childish behavior.
Bridesmaids? Oh, I kind of thought of us as the best man. In more ways than one.
The only way I think of you is out.
Perhaps I could give you a hand.
Well, that won't be necessary, Padre.
Okay, well, they definitely laughed at that. I know a few people not getting invited to the next overnight wedding.
Aren't you overdue at Long Beach for that race?
I seem to have found something more important to do.
Susan, are we going to continue or not?
Jesus Christ. How about you, Susan? What do you have to say for yourself and what you want?
I'm sorry, Randy. I'm really not sure.
Randy, I think you need to let Mommy take you to someone to talk about why you wanted to have so many weird interactions with children that aren't yours. Aw, Susan, I think I get it when I see that smile. Dean Jones, kiss me. Oh, wait. What? There's more? Oh, I see. He has to let his employee and buddy down by saying he won't race. You know, you could let someone else race Herbie for the money. Herbie can do the driving!
Would it be premature if I asked
Yes, it would. Try me again?
you? You can bet on it.
Are you f***ing kidding me? You're gonna propose to her on her wedding day? When did you meet? 3 days ago? I'm serious. I'll be generous here and say you got taken hostage at the bank on Monday and had the wedding on Saturday, so it's been a week. You were practically engaged to Randy, but I'm starting to think that you were literally engaged to Randy. Maybe this is unhealthy. Jim, you need to just pound your trash a little more often. Anyway, that was the first episode of Herbie the Love Bug TV show. Just imagine what comes next. We'll find out together.